Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. It's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome in, Hunt and Hill, on a Friday from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios downtown in the capital city. I am Hunt Palmer. He is Hill, Jeremy Hill, Casey Gaines, and Taylor Sharp back there on the ones and twos. How's it going on a Friday, Mr. Hill?
I'm doing great, man. Just jump aboard all the Tigers in the portal, man. Just come on down to Baton Rouge. I will never complain about that, so I'm doing solid.
The portal giveth and the portal taketh away, as they say, and that's certainly been the case for LSU. We'll start the show with that. Curtis Wilkerson covers Arkansas for hogsports.com, part of the 247 network. We will talk about the musclemanless Hogs that are coming to the PMAC tomorrow. Lots of NFL playoff talk as well. Noah Kane headed to Baton Rouge. His dad is going to jump aboard at the top of hour number 2. We will also talk Tigers and Hogs in hour number 2 as well. So 2 hours for us, and then we're headed towards the weekend. Glad you're spending your Friday with us. Hopefully your afternoon goes quickly and we ease you into a wonderful weekend. But let's talk about the transfer portal as things continue to shake up over across the street there at LSU. Some guys coming in, one guy moving out, and it continues every single day. Let's start with the guy going out. Devontae Lee has announced that he is going to enter the transfer portal. Devontae has played linebacker. He has played wide receiver. He's played tight end. He's played all over the place. Never complained, always been a team player, has done whatever they've asked of him, and he's going to look elsewhere to finish out his eligibility. That wide receiver room that had so many numbers in it has really dwindled over the last month now. As the transfer portal's opened up, Mickey Joseph has moved on. You've seen Trey Palmer. You've seen Devontae Lee. You had 6 guys that have decided they're going to move on. The good news, Kayshon Boutte, not one of those. But Devontae Lee, a really good athlete, a guy that was a 4-star recruit coming into LSU, but never quite found a home in a position. Yeah,
I was. It was just a tough scene for him, especially if you just look at the receivers that were in that receiver room during his tenure at LSU. That's a tall hill to climb to try to, get significant playing time. And you saw him kind of get some playing time this season, but, with the quarterback situation, offensive line situation, it wasn't, really desirable for a guy to really, stay around and really try to keep forcing yourself to try to have a chance in this lineup. And with the portal now, guys are seeing they can, play a lot more of the snaps elsewhere. So wish Devontae the best. It's a shame we're losing another player, but that's just how this thing's been rolling.
As you look at the wide receiver room for LSU right now, you've still got Kayshon Boutte. Jeray Jenkins still has another year should he decide to come back. All indications are that will be the case. That's a veteran there. Malik Neighbors, Jack Best, Brian Thomas, Chris Hilton. I mean, that's a really solid top 6 there for sure of guys that have a ton of talent. You signed Landon Avieta in the early signing period. You would imagine 1 or 2 more would find their way into this class or the transfer portal, because 7, not quite enough in the wide receiver room.
Yeah, I definitely would think so. I think if not, they're going to go the freshman route and try to look for a high school player to join this class, or they're going to hit the portal. I think Coach Kelly's not done doing his damage, man. I think they're going to continue to pound this portal and really try to get as much depth and talent that they can on this bare roster, man. Just looking at the roster, there's a lot of empty seats probably sitting in that team meeting room. You got to start filling those seats out. And I think starting with the receiver, which I think is probably one of the more dominant position groups on the team right now, I think that's a great place to continue to start.
I mean, look, and to be very, very clear, it's purely a depth issue, not a talent issue at wide receiver. When you look at Kayshon at the top, is as good as anybody in the country. Jeray Jenkins is a proven, solid option as a senior. Malik Neighbors and Jack Best, maybe stars, we'll see, certainly showed flashes of that early on. Brian Thomas and Chris Hilton are freak athletes who, with the ball in space and some more opportunities, may show themselves to be really solid players. And, Avieta is a guy that a lot of people who scout high schoolers love. Said he tore up the camp route. Not a guy that you're going to pump right into the starting lineup with the guys I just mentioned above him, but you add some depth there. But if you can add one more portal guy and maybe 1 or 2 more high schoolers, you'll be in really good shape there in the wide receiver room. So as we mentioned, Devontae Lee on the way out. On the way in, another Hog coming to Baton Rouge. We will talk with Curtis Wilkerson in the next segment, certainly about the basketball game tomorrow, but about the Hogs that are coming down to Baton Rouge as well, as he covers football. Greg Brooks, a defensive back who has played a lot of nickel over the years for the Hogs, had a pick in their bowl game a couple of weeks ago. He's also a Louisiana native. He will be coming down to Baton Rouge. That secondary room was empty as of about 72 hours ago. They're starting to restock those shelves a little bit.
Yeah, they definitely are. Something going on at Arkansas, man. It seems like people are just jumping ship, but hey, I'm not going to complain, especially when you get a guy like Fusha and then you get a guy like Greg Brooks coming down. That's exactly what we've been talking about, that defensive back room. It's not looking too hot right now. It's not looking too shabby, but now you're getting proven guys who played in the SEC, who knows what it's like to play an SEC West schedule, and they're coming back home, so they're going to want to play well in front of their home fans and in front of their family. So I'm excited about this. I think this is something that you can definitely build upon, and I think actually, I think both guys from Arkansas, they may be plug-and-play guys just right away, just with how everything's looking. So these are definitely some big hits right here to help your defensive back.
At this point, for sure, because you can't go the high school route the way this group is set up right now. There's nobody left. It's like Demarius McGee. There's nobody left that's played any significant time. So you have to go get guys that have played. And I'm not here telling you that Fusha and Brooks are going to be All-Americans next year. I highly doubt they are. But there are guys who have played SEC football, and the moment won't be too big for them. So I absolutely would expect those two guys to be on the field on the first play of next year. And so, you had to go get high major players who are ready. Certainly Garner from ULL is a guy that a lot of people are high on, but we'll see. The Sun Belt moving up, always a tough call. We know these guys can play against Auburn. We know they can play against A&M. They've already done it. So this was a necessity. Again, I think your talent level is a drop-off here from the Fulton, Stingley, Delpit days of 2019, but you didn't have a choice. The way when Corey left and everybody followed, you had to go get these. So this was mandatory, and they have made that happen. The other addition is Noah Kane, guy that a lot of people around here, if you follow recruiting, should be very familiar with. Was a 5-star prospect with Baton Rouge roots, played his final high school days at IMG Academy, went up to Penn State, was an impact player as a freshman, scored 10 touchdowns, had his sophomore year cut short due to an injury, but has been a big part of the Penn State offense over the last 3 years and started a lot of games. He's got good size. He's got good speed. His production's been good outside of the injury. And I think the running back room now, with Emory coming back, with the two freshmen from this year, with Kiner and Goodwin, I think that you're in really good shape here as Kane comes in at the running back spot.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And that's something that we were kind of worried about with TDP, taking his talents to the next level. And, what's the status with Emory? And then are the two young backs, are they possibly leaving? But I think this is definitely something that, to me, I'm starting to really, really like this offense. I think if you can point to 5 starting offensive linemen and get that thing figured out. You look at the skill positions. Barn tight end, there's a lot of talent on this roster. And you get a guy who's played a lot of big-time football in the Big Ten. I don't think the moment's going to be too big for him. And it's another guy who shares the same story as some of these Arkansas cats coming back home. Something about that. You come back home, you want to play well. You want to, do good in front of your friends and family. And I think that's what a lot of these kids are seeing and doing. And the coaching staff is taking advantage of that.
It is what it is, this day and age in college football. There are a lot of people who hate this. And I think there are a lot of coaches, if you listen to them in press conferences, don't like this, that it's just a free agent market once, the season ends. But it's going to give and it's going to take. And LSU has lost a ton of transfers out. They're going to get a ton of transfers in. It's a desirable spot, and it's a place where LSU is going to do very well. Greg Brooks, Noah Kane, Devontae are the most recent 2 in with Devontae Lee on the way out. The last guy we want to mention here is Mekhi Wingo, who came on a visit. I think he has left by now, but certainly was here yesterday. Wingo was a freshman all-conference defensive lineman on the interior for Missouri and has decided he wants to look elsewhere. The interesting thing, Robert Steeples was his head coach in high school. He's now on campus at LSU and they've gotten a visit. Now, this is a really good player, and this is a guy who is also looking at Oklahoma, also looking at Southern Cal. So you're going to have to fight for him, but you got to think that LSU's in a pretty good spot if he's a player who prioritized the SEC coming out of high school, and his high school coach is on campus, and he's been on a visit. That looks good for LSU on the interior front. They got some talent there, but you can never have enough depth up front.
Yeah, you can never have too much depth on the offensive line or defensive line. This happens to be a defensive line player, but I think for me, especially watching that bowl game, man, you got to need some depth on that defensive line. I like the starters that we have, but I think you look past that with the guys leaving, you're going to need some more depth, and I think having those relationships we're really seeing now with this portal situation, relationship matters. You see, Spencer Rattler going to South Carolina with his old coach, their tight end going back, Caleb Williams possibly going to USC. It's on and on and on. So I think if you have those relationships, you got to take full advantage. And him coming down to Baton Rouge, it's not a bad idea. So hopefully we can get him to join the Tigers as well.
That all of a sudden would make your defensive interior front look pretty formidable. I think, obviously Mason Smith and Jaquelin Roy have shown flashes of brilliance. It looks like Joseph Evans is going to come back and be in the interior middle. You got Jacoby and Guillory there as well. And then if you had a guy who was an all-SEC freshman performer at Missouri, that's a lot of meat and depth on the interior of the defensive front, which is a great place to start.
Yeah, you definitely need that. I think if you look at the linebacker play that we're probably going to have next season, that drop off from Damone
Speaking
Clark.
of the portal.
Yeah, that's I think you can start with the defensive line. The defensive line is wreaking havoc and blowing up plays and getting in the backfield. It just makes their job so much easier, and you don't have to worry about your linebackers having to be so stingent with their run fits and everything of that nature. And then also safeties too, so it can help everyone out. So you get a defensive line that's ruthless and getting after the quarterback and after running backs, makes everyone's job easier.
It's portal season in America, but down here in Baton Rouge for sure, as that roster turnover is going to be as sizable as any roster in all of college football. Ton to get to over the next 2 hours here on Hunt and Hill. We'll talk NFL playoffs coming up at 12:30. We will talk with Noah Cain's dad, former 5-star running back, Penn State standout, is headed down to Baton Rouge. He'll join us at 1 o'clock. And LSU Arkansas play tomorrow at 1 o'clock. We'll preview that game at 1:15, as well as 5 minutes from right now when we have Curtis Wilkerson from Hog 247. So we do have our Citizens Bank poll question of the day. We will put that on our Twitter feed at 1045 ESPN. Go ahead and check it out and vote. I want to see what your vote would be here, Jeremy. I got two options. You can either watch LSU basketball from 1 to 3 on Saturday and no NFL playoffs, or all the NFL playoff action, but you got to skip the hoops. What's your vote?
Man, look, I love my Tigers, but look, it's early on. You only get a.
He's going with the NFL.
Come on, it's NFL playoffs. Yeah, of course we're watching the playoffs.
Not me, but that's why the poll question exists. Thanks to Citizens Bank for bringing the poll question back. You want to vote? Go to 1045 ESPN on Twitter. It will be posted very shortly, and we will update the results at the end of the show. Curious to see how that one goes. This is a football world down here, but the Tigers are now a 2 seed in Joe Lunardi's bracketology. Big game coming up on Saturday against the Hogs. Curious to see. It's what is it? 5 games that you can watch over this weekend with the 6 coming up. Or is it 7 games?
No, I think it's 7. I think they.
Yeah, because there's one on Monday. There's a million. I think it's total
6.
of 6 though.
6,
total
6.
6. 3, 2, 1, or 2, 3, 1 is how it's going. But it's a lot. You can watch a lot, or you can watch that 2 hours of the Tigers. You know where my attention will be this weekend. But we'll talk about it all coming up on Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
Brake Medics, always excited to tell you about Brake Medics. You can find them at brakemedics.com. Brake repair anywhere. Anywhere. That means at your home. All you got to do is get to the website.
Yeah, all you got to do is go to brakemedics.com for your free quote today. You log into their website, you fill out the make, year, and model of your vehicle, and whatever brake symptoms your vehicle may be dealing with at the time, they'll have all those options right there on the website for you. You punch that in, and you put your name, email, and phone number, and brakemedics.com will get back with you with a free quote today.
Look, you're trying to save PTO. You can't leave the office, can't leave the house, whatever it may be. But you still got to get those brakes serviced. They'll come to you. They will come to your office. Pull the van up, get the jack out, jack your car up, change those brakes. You don't even have to leave your desk. Just got to give them those keys. Great deal they got going on right now. Most vehicles, they will change a single axle for $229 for the whole lot, front and rear, $449. Not just pads. You're talking about pads, rotors, all the way around. And with it comes a 24-month, 24,000-mile nationwide guarantee. Can't beat the prices, can't beat the convenience. No catching rides, no waiting rooms, no traffic you got to sit in. Let them come to you. Brake Medics at brakemedics.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Guys, it's a new year, and it's time to make big things happen. Are you thinking of getting engaged this year? There's only one place you need to go, Lee Michaels. When you walk into a Lee Michaels, you'll feel comfortable. It doesn't matter what size diamond you're looking for, how much money you have to spend, Lee Michaels will make you feel comfortable with your purchase. The staff is so helpful, and they have more accredited jewelry professionals than anyone else in the state to help make your job easy, help you save money, and make you a hero with your lady and her friends. Surprise her with the red box and make this year one you'll always remember. LMFJ.com.
P-E-A-U-S-R-O-O-M. What's that spell? Time to give your home a facelift? Call Go Roof. Free estimates, quality work, licensed and insured, experienced, and affordable. Go Roof specializes in residential, commercial, and industrial roofs. Go Roof is a locally owned roofing company proudly serving Baton Rouge and surrounding South Louisiana communities. Call them 927-8300 or visit online GEAUXroof.com. That's GEAUX with a Cajun spell. Go Roof guarantees that you'll be happy with a beautiful roof every shingle time.
Excuse me, you're standing in front of the... Wait, is that a jackpot reel?
Yes, it is. Here comes the excitement of an instant game with the thrill of a rolling cash jackpot.
A cash jackpot that rolls?
Yes, it's the Louisiana Jackpot, the exciting new fast play game from the lottery.
Ooh, the lottery. So how many times does it roll?
Great question. Tell her, Johnny.
Until it's hit.
Thank you, Johnny. It keeps rolling and rolling until it's won. Play $2, win 20% of the jackpot.
Nice.
Play $5, win 50% of the jackpot.
Oh, my.
Play $10, win 100% of the jackpot.
Woohoo!
Woohoo is right. Play Louisiana Jackpot from the lottery for your chance to win big.
Let me go to the counter and pick up my tickets now.
But wait, there's more.
More?
That's right, more. Pick up beads and bucks and nines in a line.
It's carnival time, baby.
Fast play from the lottery. Fun in a flash. Must be 21 to purchase.
Thinking about a new career but don't know where to begin? Medical Training College offers day and night massage therapy classes where you can train for a brand new, rewarding career in about a year. Visit mtcbr.com for more information, to schedule a tour, and find out about financial aid options. Classes start this month, so we'd love to hear from you today. Medical Training College. It's the right choice for your career education.
NFL Wildcard Weekend wraps up Monday when the Los Angeles Rams host the Arizona Cardinals. Tune in immediately following Jimmy Ott's Game Time at 8 p.m. on your home for the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl 56.
Edition of Early Line as we talk to David Cobb of CBS Sports and get some picks ahead of the college basketball weekend. Plus, we preview LSU versus Arkansas in the PMAC and more. Join us 2 to 3 p.m. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Out on the open field on a Friday, lots of NFL playoff talk coming at you in the rest of this hour. But for right now, we will focus on Tigers and Hogs. 1 o'clock tip from the Pete Maravich Assembly Center tomorrow. LSU 3-1, Arkansas 1-3, coming off a drubbing of Missouri up there in Fayetteville earlier this week. With the Hogs will not be Eric Musselman. Curtis Wilkerson from hogsports.com, part of the 247 Network, joins us now. Curtis, thanks so much for some time. What happened to Coach Muss?
Wow. Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it. And yeah, it's kind of a tough situation with Coach Muss. You know, he's an active and energetic guy, and as it turns out, you know, he got involved in a practice drill in early December, and he got taken out by one of his own players. So, Trey Wade, one of the power forwards on the team, big guy, a lot bigger than Muss, landed on him in a drill and wound up tearing his rotator cuff. And so he kind of coached through it for, it must have been over a month, maybe closer to like 6 weeks. You could tell it was really bothering him. He was favoring it on the sidelines, and he told us he's having a hard time sleeping on the road and things like that. So, he was trying to kind of gut it out throughout the course of the season, maybe get it taken care of after the year, but it just got to the point where he felt like he needed to get it done. And, Arkansas picks up a big win over Missouri, and on Wednesday, and the next morning he goes under the knife, and Hogs are going to be without him for a couple games.
Sounds like Keith Smart will be the interim coach. He's actually a McKinley High product from right down the street from right here.
Right.
Went to Indiana, hit the buzzer beater to win the 87 title game. But let's talk about this Hog team. Obviously got off to a really hot start, then stubbed the toe a little bit, Oklahoma, Hofstra, and got off to a rough start in SEC play. What was the root of those struggles early on in SEC play?
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's a Razorback team that was projected to do some really good things. They were top 15 in the AP poll coming into the year. 3 returners, returning starters back from that Elite Eight run last year. And, Eric Musselman really is active in the transfer portal, brought in a lot of talented guys. And you're right. Arkansas started off 9-0. which, obviously if you're a Razorback fan, you like to see it. But even during that run, there were some troubling signs, and it kind of looked a little bit disconnected at times. It looked like some of the pieces were struggling to find their way and kind of settle into their new roles. And, when the competition upticked a little bit, they've gone through some growing pains. And, it's a team that struggles to shoot from the outside consistently. They struggle to defend the three consistently. And it was just kind of a snowball effect there after they took that first loss to Oklahoma, started trying to tweak some things in the lineup and, really figure out the combinations that are going to work. It's taken a little bit longer, I think, than they expected. But it looks like maybe they're starting to slowly trend back in the right direction now.
How do you think Arkansas is going to, handle that LSU pressure? I know J.D. Note is probably going to be handling that ball a lot. Do you think they can keep those turnovers down in this LSU game?
Well, I think that's the biggest question, going into this, and especially I think it's going to be particularly important at the beginning of the game. If you think about it, this is going to be the most difficult test Arkansas has faced all year. I think it's pretty fair to say it'll be the most hostile environment they've been in this season. And you're walking in there without your head coach, and obviously you got a good guy in the interim there in Key Smart, but it's kind of a recipe for disaster in the early goings. I think it's going to be really important for Arkansas to settle in early. But yeah, with those turnovers, during that stretch where Arkansas lost 5 out of 6, that was a big problem. They were turning it over 16 times per game. The assists were down, and it was just particularly those live ball turnovers where it becomes a layup on the other end of the floor were things that really, really hampered the Razorbacks. They flipped the script against Missouri, 18 assists to just 8 turnovers. But LSU's defense is a different animal. I think it's going to be really important for the guards. You talk about J.D. Note, Chris Lykes, Devo Davis. These guys are going to have to protect the rock. And, I don't know. I think that's the biggest question going into it, and we'll see how Arkansas handles that pressure.
Curtis Wilkerson is our guest, hogsports.com, HAWGS. So, Curtis, I saw they went big. First of all, they've had 9 guys start one of the 4 conference games at least, which is a staggering number to me. They went big against Missouri. I saw some post-game quotes from us that we just wanted to be more physical and rebound. With the pressure that LSU applies, you would think they'd want to get more guards out there. How do you think they balance that on Saturday?
Yeah, it was really an interesting lineup. When I saw it before the game, I was thinking, all right, you've got 1 high-volume scoring guard and 4 power forwards in the lineup. I don't know how this is going to work. It turned out to be a good thing for him, especially defensively. I do think this is kind of a different ball game, obviously, but we talked to Keith Smart yesterday, and he said that's kind of the plan to roll with moving forward. I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and they've been looking for the right combination. The one thing I will say about that, though, is one of the guys that started, Kamani Johnson, a transfer power forward, he went down in the first half, contested the 3 and rolled his ankle. He didn't re-enter the game. He's day-to-day questionable, so if he's not full go for LSU on Saturday, I would expect that they'll reinsert Devontae Davis into the lineup. He's ran a lot of point guard for Arkansas this year, an experienced guy in the backcourt that would probably take some of that pressure off of J.D. Note there. And then Chris Lykes, the 5'7" little guy, transfer out of Miami, probably the team's best ball handler. He's been the guy that they've looked to when facing pressure and in late game situations to protect the ball. I would expect Arkansas will lean on him a little bit heavier as well because you're right, they're going to need the ball handlers on the floor.
If Arkansas is going to go into LSU and win this big road game, other than not turning the ball over, what's one thing you think this team really has to do to win that game?
Well, I think you got to find a way to score, and the way that Arkansas has done that this year, I mentioned they've had a few exceptions, but for the most part, they've struggled to shoot it from 3. But what they've done, as well as anybody in the SEC and maybe the country, is get to the free throw line and convert. And and I think when you're playing a defense like LSU, that's a tough shell to crack. Sometimes you're settling for those contested long jumpers. I think Arkansas is going to have to be really aggressive, attacking the rim, trying to draw contact and get to the free throw line. And that's going to be big for them, maybe create a little bit of foul trouble, and then just being aggressive in the lane overall. Offensive rebounds, second chance points. I think when you're facing a team that, gives up points at a premium, those are the ways that you kind of get it done. And, if I had to tack one more thing onto that, I think it would be, fueling your offense through your defense. And, when Arkansas is locked in, one thing they do well as they're a high steals team. So if they can generate some turnovers and get out in transition and get some easy ones, it'll probably make things a little bit easier on them going into what's a really difficult game.
Yeah, I'm looking into Arkansas's free throw stat in this game for sure. LSU's had some significant foul issues the last 2 weeks because of how aggressive they are, and if you can get to the line like Florida did, you can make some hay. LSU did hold the Gators off. All right, Curtis, let's change gears if we could. Your time really much appreciated here on this Friday. 2 defensive backs headed from Fayetteville to Baton Rouge. What can you tell Tiger fans about those two?
Yeah, I mean, it's a couple of really nice players. Joe Fouché, this is a guy, he was a captain for Arkansas this past year, and he's somebody who had battled through some shoulder injuries earlier in his career and, finally got that thing taken care of. And he came, into this past season as healthy and as strong as he has been. He played really well for Arkansas, 73 tackles on the year, a couple interceptions. He had one in the bowl game. But I think that's going to be a really big help for LSU. Arkansas fans were not happy to lose that guy, but, he's going home, opportunity there, so you can't really blame him for that. And then the same thing with Greg Brooks Jr., played a ton of nickel for Arkansas, a really athletic guy. He had an interception in that bowl game as well. So I think those are two experienced, quality guys in the defensive backfield that LSU is getting. And, I think Arkansas would have loved to have him back. They do have Jalen Catalon coming back and some young emerging guys. And I think that Fouché and Brooks absolutely would have played a huge role for the Razorbacks, going into next season. But opportunities at home and a new coaching staff and a fresh start. So wish those guys the best of luck. I think LSU's getting a couple good ones.
Curtis Wilkerson covers the Hogs for hogsports.com. Curtis, we really appreciate it. The Tigers headed to Fayetteville and Bud Walton in March. Let's do it again then.
Hey, that sounds great. I appreciate you guys. Anytime.
Have a great weekend. He is Curtis Wilkerson covering the Hogs for 247. We'll get into this game with a little more in-depth preview from our side at 1:15 today, but I think it goes without saying he's talking about how Arkansas draws fouls as well as anybody in the country. Bit of an issue for the Tigers over the last week and a half. Got to keep the Hogs off the free throw line, force them to score from the field. Take a timeout, come back. NFL playoffs are loaded this weekend. We'll be talking about it next on Hunt and Hill.
Holding down the middle of the day. This is Hunt and Hill. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Yo, you can listen to one
all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I had to pack up all my things. I had to leave my home. And I never knew where I was going next. It felt like I never even had a say. But then you came along.
Change a child's story.
You're going to join us for Friday's AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. The Riot Radio Hours return. We're previewing LSU, Arkansas, and hoops, and the NFL playoff weekend. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
NFL playoffs are upon us. 2 games Saturday, 3 games Sunday, 1 game on Monday. If you missed it, our Citizens Bank poll question of the day is on Twitter at 104.5 ESPN. If you can only watch one this weekend, are you watching the LSU-Arkansas basketball game or the entirety of the NFL playoffs? That is up. Jeremy's in the NFL boat. I'm in the LSU boat. The LSU boat is riding right now. Get on there and cast your votes. Let's start talking about these matchups, Jeremy, and it starts on Saturday, 3:30 on NBC, so about 30 minutes after LSU and Arkansas go final. The Raiders headed to play our Bengals. It's a Bengals show, if you didn't know. Oh, yeah. Listen to this. The first ever NFL meeting between teams that had at least 18 years since its last playoff win. Yeah. Raiders and Bengals have not won a playoff game in the last 18 years. The Bengals have not won a playoff game since text messaging was invented. Think about that.
Yeah.
I was in like 4th grade.
Yeah. It's been 31 years for the Bengals. That's a very long time, and I know they're eager and excited to change that, especially with Joey being in town. Just that confidence that he has, the swagger he has, that it just permeates throughout the stadium, through the teammate, through the front office. Everyone feels like we got that guy leading the helm. We got that guy at quarterback. There's no game we can't win, and I think that's the confidence they're going to have going into that game. I know that city's had a dark cloud over it with their recent playoff success and just not being able to.
What's that like?
It's tough, man. It's tough, man. I think I guess the closest thing you would have, LSU, we had at least won a national championship in 58 or 59, but that just not ever feeling like you're going to get over the hump, and watching the Steelers kick your butt and watch them win Super Bowls, and the Ravens get over the hump, and the Browns are the Browns, so you don't worry about them too much. So, but for the Bengals, I know they've had a lot of success throughout the regular season, and just not being able to get over that hump, man, it's very tough, and you know it. So I think for Joey B coming to town, refreshing things and changing that up and winning this game, I think that's going to be huge for that city going forward, and really, getting that monkey off the city's back and being able to, have a deep playoff run.
We saw this game back in Week 11. The Bengals won it 32-13. They bludgeoned the Raiders in the 4th quarter, 19-7. But In the game, they got Joe Mixon going. They gave him the ball 30 times for 123 yards. He scored 2 touchdowns. Conversely, the Raiders couldn't really do much on the ground, only ran it for 72 yards, put it all on Derek Carr's plate. He did throw a pick in the game. Joe, 20 of 29 for 148 in that one. He's kind of a different player at this point, but the Raiders, they've been through everything this year, and it still showed up. So, like 69% of the public money is on the Bengals at this point. They're a 5.5-point favorite, depending on where you're shopping. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough game. I think either both teams going into this game feel like they have every opportunity to win. And I know the Raiders are extremely confident. I know the Bengals are extremely confident. And those are the type of games where they normally go down to the wire. And I think they're two really evenly matched ball clubs. And I think for both teams, they're gonna be trying to implement the same thing. I think you're gonna see the Bengals really try to feed Joe Mixon and get the play action game, get those one-on-one matchups on the outside with Higgins and Chase. And I think it's going to be the same for the Raiders. They're going to be trying to get, Hunter Renfrow matched up in that slot one-on-one. He's a matchup nightmare. And now they have their beast tight end back in Darren Waller, who I still think is probably the most talented tight end in the NFL. So, and Carr, he's been there, done that. He has multiple game-winning drives in the fourth quarter. So, if he gets the ball in that situation, he's going to be uber confident in that, leading his team down the field and being able to put them over the hump. So I'm excited to see how this game plays out. But I got my Bengals, man. I got Joey B in the crib.
Let's go, Bengals. Hooray!
Yes,
Patriots and Bills from Orchard Park is the night game on Saturday. Game time temp looking to be about 0 in that one. Obviously, this game was played a few weeks ago in ridiculous weather conditions when the Patriots ran the ball on every play just about. It's going to be an interesting one about a franchise that's really used to being there and one that's just trying to get over the hump. The Patriots defense has surrendered the second lowest completion percentage against in the league. So they're playing very, very well. Mac Jones, not as well over the last 3 games. 61% completion, just 211 yards per game, 4 touchdowns and 3 picks. He has turned the ball over a lot in the last month. That's not a recipe for success in the playoffs, specifically against defenses statistically is the best in the league. This ain't the Brady Patriots, but do you still like Belichick's boys to go to Orchard Park and get a win over Buffalo?
Yeah, I saw an interesting stat about your boy Josh Allen, man. In cold weather games, his record's only 500. I don't know if I'm liking that too much, man. That's a tough scene. You're at home. You got to be winning in that cold weather. What are we doing, Josh Allen? But I think the Bills find a way to get it done. I still do. I think it's especially at home, getting that confidence of beating them in New England. And then obviously Mac Jones not playing to the level. I think it's safe to say now we can give our boy Chase Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
It's safe to say, okay, good.
But Mac Jones is from Jacksonville, and he went to Bama. I don't think he's going to be slinging it all over the yard in 0 degrees weather either. I like the Bills in this game. I don't know if that's the most popular pick. Certainly the Bills took care of their business against New England to finish the season off right and do. I mean, they beat them 3 weeks from the end, 33-21, then took care of business against the Falcons and the Jets. 11-6 team. I just think the Bills are better. If you're taking the Patriots in this game, I think you're doing it based on history, and that history's attached to 12 a lot, and 12's not out there. So we'll see how that thing goes on Saturday night. Sunday, noon kickoff. The Eagles are at the Bucs. That's where you can find number 12. I got a lot of things, a lot of nuggets on this game. The Bucs are the best run defense in the NFL over the last 2 years, but over the last 2 games, they've given up over 100 yards. The Eagles run it the most in the league. The Bucs actually pass it the most in the league.
Yeah, I like the Bucs in that one. I think that scene is just too much for Jalen Hurts. Weapons on the outside. I know he has Devontae Smith, but after that, it's really not much. And I know Tom, man. He's psycho Tom right now. This is the time of year where he's really digging his heels in the sand and really charging ahead and really trying to accomplish something special. And I don't think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be the team that stops that. You got Mike Evans back. You got Gronk playing at a high level. I think that's more than enough for Tom to find a way to get over the hump. You don't got to win in dramatic fashion. Just got to have one more point than the other team, and I think that's what the Bucs are going to do.
So Jalen Hurts has obviously played in national championship games, SEC championship games, playoff games. I mean, he's seen the bright lights, the brightest the college game has to offer. In terms of nerves, not the play on the field, that's a whole different story. But in terms of nerves, is it a different feeling in an NFL playoff game?
It depends on the player. Some guys, they don't fold. Some guys, the moment's never too big. And some guys, sometimes those lights get in their vision and it becomes too big. So Jalen strikes me as a guy, especially during the week. They asked him his last memory of Tom Brady. And he said, I don't remember. I don't know who that guy is. Like, just totally just brushed it off like he just didn't know. So I'm hoping that's a guy that can come in there and really, the moment not be too big. Because you're talking like that, man. You better back it up with your play.
Well, look, it's his first playoff game. Brady's played in 46. So a little bit different there. An interesting note here, the Eagles are the lowest blitz percentage team in the NFL. They're third worst in the NFL in sacks created. That, to me, sounds not great. I mean, you don't want to blitz Tom a ton because he'll find it, but the sacks issue and not getting a lot of pressure, that sounds like a disaster.
Yeah, and then you pair that with the best offensive line going into these playoffs, especially pass blocking offensive line. That's going to be a tough scene. You kind of, you're messed up if you do, you're messed up if you don't with Tom Brady. If you do blitz and then now he knows where the blitz is coming from, and now he has one-on-one matchups, and if you don't blitz, and now he's sitting in the pocket all day and surveying the defense and picking you apart that way. And it looks like they're going to be getting Fournette back. It looks like they're going to be getting Giovanni Bernard back. And you got his security blankets down below. It's just looking like Tom's going to find a way to get this down to me.
Yeah, I got the Bucs. They're an 8.5-point favorite in that game as well. Sunday afternoon kick, 3:30. This brings me back to my childhood when I was a Cowboys fan. Cowboys hosting the 49ers. First postseason meeting between these two teams since 1994 when they played in the NFC title game. Interesting. Jimmy G, when he doesn't throw a pick this year, Niners 7-0. When he does, 2-6. Mr. Diggs, meet Jimmy G. Let's see what you can do. Who you got in this game?
Taylor Sharp's going to love this, but I got the Cowboys, man. I got the Cowboys in this one, man. I think it's going to be too much for Jimmy G, man. I think they're going to be able to slow that run game down just enough. If not, just to make them take field goals in the red zone area. And I think Jimmy G does give the Cowboys one. I think he does pitch it to the other team one time. And I know Dak needed that game last week to get that confidence back. I know it was against the Eagles C team and D team and some practice squad guys, but you sometimes just about getting the rhythm, getting the steps, getting the timing. And it looks like Dak has done that, and I think it's the Cowboys' time, man. I think Cowboys deep playoff run. Taylor Sharp's coming.
You look at what the Cowboys have played in the last, month and a half. The only playoff team they played, because you don't count the Eagles last week because of what they were playing. The only playoff team they played is the Cardinals, and they lost at home. But they were 10-3 against the spread as a favorite this year. They're a pretty solid team. I'm pulling for the Cowboys in this game. I know that doesn't make everybody thrilled, but I think it's interesting when they're in it. But really, the only thing that matters on this show is what Mr. Sharp thinks about his boys on Sunday afternoon. Sir, your mic?
Yeah, the Cowboys are going to get this done.
A little confidence.
I'm cautiously optimistic, as I am for every game. I will say that if the 49ers get their run game going, the Cowboys are in trouble. Their defense flies around, so everyone automatically thinks they're physical. Their front seven is not physical on the defensive line at all. So if, they get it going, Elijah Mitchell's fully healthy, and they carry the ball 35 times, the Cowboys could be in a little bit of trouble, but I think Dak makes more plays than Jimmy.
All right, we all picked the Cowboys. That's surely a great sign, I'm sure. The nightcap on Sunday, Steelers just eked into the playoffs. They will be at Kansas City. Temps in the high 20s for that one. Some stats here. Mahomes, in his career versus Pittsburgh, 91.9 QBR, the highest versus any team in the league. The Chiefs and Steelers played 3 weeks ago. Chiefs were up 23-0 at halftime. I guess the two questions are, can the Steelers get Najee going? You can't expect Big Ben to do this against the Chiefs himself. So can they get Najee going? And can TJ Watt get back there and make a couple of plays and get some turnovers, shorten the field for your boy Big Ben?
My boy Deontay Johnson, their receiver, said it, I think, a couple of days ago. He said, don't be jumping on our bandwagon when we go beat the Chiefs. Not so fast, my friend. Relax. I don't know about going into Arrowhead and beating Mr. Mahomes. He's back to being Patrick again, and I think it's a bad matchup for the Steelers, man. That their defense, the way they run that offense, they're not going to give TJ Watt all day to just be 10-yard dropbacks and let him get after the quarterback. That ball's going to be getting out quick. They're going to be using the RPO game. They're going to be using misdirection, jet sweeps, and all those things. tough scene for the Steelers, man. I'm sorry, Big Ben. You're going to have to go out on your shield, but it's not going to look pretty. I think the Chiefs big here, double digits.
We'll be able to get to sleep early on Sunday night is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then Monday, Cardinals and the Rams. We'll talk about that one on Monday's show. But you're loaded from the NFL. If you got LSU and Arkansas starting at 1 o'clock, that game will end at about 3:30. I know that's probably, I wonder if that's Eastern time. I think these are probably Eastern. No, those are Central time. So 3:30, the Bengals will start things. Then you have a nightcap on Saturday, Patriots and Bills. Sunday, noon, Eagles, Bucks. 3:30, Niners, Cowboys. 7:15, Steelers visiting the Chiefs. That is your NFL look for the weekend. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we were talking in the first segment about LSU needing receivers. They just got one from the transfer portal. We'll tell you who it is next on Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill. We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Looking to excel in your real estate career?
Is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit garciadidmyroof.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Yo, Jake here from Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, reminding you they now have 8 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. And if you're looking for that COVID test for holiday travel, or you have a holiday event coming up, they're the place for you, as well as a flu shot. It's starting to creep up here during flu season, so if you need that shot, make sure you get that. They now have some available through December. You can find more information on their website, patientplusuc.com. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
live at Rouge Creole in Perkins Row, recapping all of the college and NFL action from the weekend on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Closing up hour number 1. Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We opened the show talking about the transfer portal and how things have gone on both sides of it for LSU. And we mentioned that wide receiver was still going to be a area of emphasis for LSU, whether in the portal or from the high school ranks, and it took all of 30 minutes for that to materialize. You look down the road to Louisiana Lafayette, Kyron Lacey, a 6'3", 213-pound sophomore who hails from Thibodaux originally, has decided he is leaving Louisiana Lafayette, headed to LSU. This is a guy who, as a freshman in 2020, had 4 touchdowns, 28 catches in 11 games. This year had an injury, only played in 3 games, but did score a touchdown. He's got a big frame, was a pretty good playmaker in the Sun Belt, and adds some depth to that room.
Yeah, it definitely is. He is a guy that's a big body target, which I love. I love those guys who can go up and dunk on people and catch those back shoulder fades and catch those fades in the red zone. And he has a big area to get the ball to. So that's a guy, I don't know if he's going to play early on. That's going to be determined. But you're starting to get more depth in that room. So if injuries happen, portal happens, things happen.
Yeah.
You got more depth and more people you can turn to that can help this team out.
Yeah, that's the 6'3" aspect of it is a little bit different than what LSU's got on campus. Certainly, Besh is well, he's over 6 feet, but he's more of a slot guy, quickness guy, as opposed to a vertical threat. Kayshawn fits the mold of a vertical threat, even though he's not 6'3". And you look at Thomas and Hilton. Neighbors, they're all right around 6'1", 6'2". Lacey's a little bit longer than those guys, so a nice change of pace for LSU. Again, I'm never gonna go nuts over a guy that comes in from the Sun Belt immediately, but you got to have bodies. And when you're looking at a group that went to Texas and played in this bowl game with 40 dudes, you got to have players.
Yeah.
So I'm all about stocking the shelves with as much as you can. They still got to get linebackers. Defensive back is still very, very barren. They need offensive line help as well. You're good at cornerback. You're good at quarterback. You're good at running back. I think you're getting there at wide receiver. But elsewhere, you still got to add a bunch of guys. And so Kyron Lacey is a guy that a lot of the recruiting experts like. Certainly, ULL won a lot of games under Billy Napier over the last few years. Certainly went up to Iowa State and won a game 2 years ago. So they've got some guys who can play at this level. I'm not going to sit here and profess that I know everything there is to know about Kyron Lacey, but as we're watching his highlights here, he has made some plays for him over the last couple of years. And so, again, I'm all for bringing in just about anybody at this point, so you've got warm bodies. You figure this is going to be an evolving thing year to year to year. Mm-hmm. And while you've got a thin recruiting class this year, thin signing class this year, getting guys who are 21, 22 years old is fine with me.
Yeah, that's definitely the route you got to go on. It's starting to look like a distant memory that we're going to just have this amazing national signing day in February. We're just going to sign all these 5 stars and 4 stars. That's just looking so far from the case. So when that happens, you got to hit the portal. You got to get depth on your roster. That's what Coach Kelly's doing, which is why I've trusted in him from the start. And it's looked like this roster's slowly but surely starting to get filled out. So a lot more work to do, but this is definitely a direction you want to be going in.
It's just odd timing, the way that this all works. None of us are used to it. We're kind of used to guys staying put where they were in programs. Obviously, you have some defections from guys down on the depth chart at times, and then you sign your class in February and you move forward into the spring. Now you're loading stuff up in the best you can in December, and then it's just a mass exodus from everywhere in the country. I mean, Arkansas just came off one of its best years in a decade, and guys are jumping ship left and right for whatever reason it may be, and LSU's been the beneficiary of a little bit of that. LSU's had starting quarterback. I mean, it's just stuff that we're not used to dealing with that we're now having to look at. I think it's a little easier to get used to on the basketball side when it's 2 or 3 guys here and there, maybe 4 or 5. It's pretty easy to track. When you've got a roster full of 85 scholarship guys and 30 are leaving and 35 more coming in, it's tough to wrap your head around. But hey, it's good content for the radio game, which is what we're right smack in the middle of. So good ad there from LSU. So if you missed it, to start the show at 12 o'clock, we talked about Devontae Lee heading out of LSU at the wide receiver spot, Greg Brooks and Noah Kane coming in. We also mentioned Mekhi Wingo, who's a defensive lineman from Missouri, who has visited LSU and LSU looks to be in pretty good spot with him. Curtis Wilkerson, I thought was great from hogsports.com, part of the 247 network. He jumped aboard at 12:15. We talked about the LSU-Arkansas game that we'll see tomorrow in the Hardwood. Also talked about the two DBs that are coming to Baton Rouge from Fayetteville, and he had high marks for those guys. Had our full NFL playoff breakdown at 12:30. If you missed any or all of that, you can certainly find it on demand at 1045ESPN.com or on YouTube. We appreciate everybody in the Bayou chat for hanging out. Big hour number 2 to finish off our week here on Hunt and Hill. LSU Arkansas preview at 1:15, and we will kick things off with maybe the most noteworthy ad from the transfer portal for LSU. Noah Cain, the former 5-star running back, went to Penn State. He's from the Baton Rouge area. Dad lives in Baton Rouge. His father's going to jump on the show here at the top of hour number 1. You will not want to miss that. Of course, we'll finish things off with Take It or Leave It. Stick with us for the next hour. We'll take a break, come back. We're locked and loaded. It's Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Real Cajun, real fast is here, Baton Rouge. Stop by Off the Hook's brand new location for shrimp po' boys, mouth-watering seafood gumbo, and southern fried catfish. Experience the menu for yourself at our new location at Corporate Boulevard near College Drive and I-10.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ruben Patel with Patient Plus Urgent Care, and I'm excited to announce the opening of our newest location, Patient Plus Brewley, on Oak Plaza Boulevard near Walk-Ons. We're here 7 days a week from 9 to 9. Patient Plus Urgent Care. Get in and get better.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona reminding you to stop putting around and take a swing around the parish with Breck's 6 golf courses. Santa Maria and Beaver Creek offer championship designs and amenities, while Webb and Dumas are 18-hole facilities, lending themselves to great golfing value and an excellent experience, while City Park and J.S. Clark are challenging 9-hole courses with easy-to-access locations. So visit golf.breck.org to book your tee time today. Your next hole-in-one is just a few minutes away. golf.breck.org.
GatorWorks believes that your website should be the perfect full-time salesperson, one that always looks sharp, never says the wrong thing, and is always available. If your website isn't creating more leads for your business, what is it doing? Visit our salesperson at GatorWorks.net.
Remember that Red Stick Sports has you covered no matter what sport you're looking for. So get out to Essen Lane now and get properly fitted by their professional staff in all of the latest styles. I don't care if you want Nike, Russell, Wilson, DeMarini, New Balance, Easton, they have it all, and team pricing is always available. So come into Red Stick Sports today and let the legendary Mike Powers and his crew get you ready for any season, any reason. Baton Rouge is Red Stick Sports.
Brake Medics. Brake repair anywhere. Our ASC certified techs are experienced to repair your brakes quickly and efficiently at your home. From pickups to compacts, we come to you. Get a free quote and book your appointment today at BrakeMedics.com. Brake Medics. We make house calls.
Oh, yeah. Can you feel it? A new year, spring is right around the corner. And now is the perfect time to take your boat to a new level with front-to-back boat service. With not one, but 2 NMEA certified techs, Front to Back can give you the latest and greatest technology that your fish-loving heart could desire. You want HD displays? You want trolling motors you can control with your iPhone? You want to be able to literally see the fish under the water before you cast? Front to Back can make your dreams a reality. And listen, what's being on the water without a little music? You want stereo systems? They do that too. So, for all your marine electronics, boat maintenance, trolling motors, outboard maintenance. They do it all. That's why it's Front to Back. They've been family owned and operated by the Sherman family for over 20 years. So whether you got a new boat or you want to take your boat to a new level, you want Front to Back boat service.
This is Skip Bertman, and as a coach for over 50 years and the father of 4 daughters, we've had a lot of happiness and accumulated lots of stuff. Dependable Storage wants your stuff. Now open in Baton Rouge. Visit DependableStorage.com.
People often think they can handle their claim on their own. That's exactly what the insurance companies want you to think. If I can't get you more, even after our fee, then you owe us nothing, not even our costs.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA 16-7975. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Dan Canterbury here. Join Skip Bertman and myself on Sundays from 7 to 9 p.m. for Hold the Rope with Skip and Cano live from Sammy's Grill on Highland on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
WNXX Jackson, KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill on a Friday, closing down the week. One more hour to go. We'll preview LSU and Arkansas on the hardwood coming up in 15 minutes. But right now, our pleasure to welcome on the phone lines Terrence Kane, the father of running back Noah Kane, who made it public yesterday that he is transferring from Penn State down to Baton Rouge, where his roots are. Terrence, thanks so much for your time. Happy Friday. What was your reaction when Noah said, "Hey, I'm coming home"?
Hello, everyone. Just exciting. Being a Baton Rouge native and, with just the entire family coming together and having elderly grandparents, in their 80s, with them also having an opportunity to be able to travel 20 minutes from home just to be able to see, their grandson, their pride and joy playing Tiger Stadium. That's wonderful.
It is wonderful, and we're all looking very much forward to that this coming fall. Let's talk about Noah's route to Baton Rouge. Obviously from here, played here, and then went over to IMG Academy to finish his high school career. What went into that decision?
Okay. Noah actually left Baton Rouge after Katrina, spent several years in the Dallas area, attended Prestonwood Academy, and that's when we met Coach Wilson. Matter of fact, Tiger Ball some years ago, and they formed a real good bond during their time. Had no idea that things, God's time, was going to work the way it did. So from there, had a excellent camp, and I went on back to Dallas. Had 2 great years at Dengar High School, and IMG recruited him out of Dengar High School. And, 2 excellent years at IMG as well.
That was going to be my next question is how familiar were you all with Frank Wilson? I didn't know if the timeline was going to work out with Frank being at LSU and then moving along, but obviously relationships are really important in the recruiting game.
It had. Yeah, it's amazing. I had no idea, with Frank, recruiting him early, leaving, and, Tiger Nation, the other staff still came in from, Coach Shalhoub, Coach T-Rob, still high interest, and it's just, going to IMG, you, of course, develop relationships with so many people, and, throughout the process, some great friendships have been made, and it's just, the timing is everything.
Talk about his decision to hit the transfer portal, and were there other schools involved, and how quickly did he kind of know that LSU was probably going to be number one?
Yeah, there were a lot of schools involved. And the unique thing, like I say, having the relationship with Frank was key. Not saying that he didn't have no other relationship with other coaches, but it's just Frank was one. When Noah first was developed, with Frank and I just really talking, he say, Mr. Kane, you have a special talent there. I love to have an opportunity to coach him one day. And I say, appreciate that, sir. So we talked, stayed in touch. And of course, with him, getting head coaching jobs, of course, when he left LSU, and it's just one of those unique things that, hey, like I say here again, with time and things, with God's time and things came back around like they did. And it's just, it's just a wonderful opportunity. When Noah had an opportunity, of course, to talk with Frank once he hit the portal, it was just like, hey, son, hey, I'm ready for you to come home. And it was just like, it was nothing but joy there, nothing but joy and love.
Terrence Kane, father of Noah Kane, our guest here on Hunt and Hill. Terrence, I'm very interested in this answer from you because all we hear from on these airwaves, generally speaking, are fans. And this is a new age of college football that it's uncomfortable for some people with just how volatile things can be in the change. But as it's been phrased by a lot of people, the player has never had more leverage and more options. So can you tell me from this perspective of a family member of a college athlete right this second, what you think of the transfer portal and people's ability to change scenery?
Now, I think it's an excellent opportunity for student athletes, but I will say one thing. you have to make sure that, hey, you're handling your business where you are. Because just because there is a transport portal and you can explore other schools, if you're not handling your business where you are, it's not going to do you any good. No one is going to want you. If you're not putting up quality film, you're not doing the things, being on time, being that leader, having all your credits, making the grade. All of those are key pieces. And hey, and just like guys, we know bad news travel fast. Being a high character guy is key. Because if you know with the transport portal, you have some guys who enter from day one and they're still there. And there's some reasons why they're still there. So, being able to do this is wonderful. But if you as a student athlete, if you have not handled your business, it's not going to serve you any purpose whatsoever.
What are you most excited for? I know you saw a lot of Big Ten football over the past few years. What are you most excited about, coming down and getting this SEC schedule?
Hey, the downhill running, the ground game, that is so exciting. I've seen over the years, and just being able to come home to be a part of that ground attack.
Talking with Terrence Kane, father of Noah Kane. I don't want you to speak for Noah here, but obviously I'm curious, why leave Penn State?
Penn State served a unique purpose. We're going to graduate in May, and of course, we still have eligibility left, and it's just having that opportunity presenting itself to be able to come home, to be right with family, because my family, Tanya's family, we're all Baton Rouge natives. And everyone is excited. Like I said, it was a decision not made by one individual. We all prayed and received that green light. And hey, we made the decision as a team that hey, this is a great opportunity, and we're going to move forward and come back home to Baton Rouge.
Every situation is different, but generally speaking, parents are very involved in the recruitment of a high school athlete, but that's a 17, 18-year-old kid. At this point with the transfer portal, a lot of times you're dealing with 21, 22-year-old men sometimes. How involved was the family in Noah's decision to come to Baton Rouge?
Oh, heavily involved. Of course, Noah is a kid to where he's going to ask his mom and dad. He's going to ask the grandparents. He's going to ask the aunts and uncles. His inner circle is small, but he looks to certain individuals, for just guidance. I mean, of course, when you have to have that team around you, you just don't want to just make a decision that you're going to regret. So, of course, with, the confirmation, like I said, with his praying and just receiving the great feedback and just looking at the whole opportunity itself, it just all made sense. It all made sense.
So this is LSU staff is brand new. They kind of had to hit the ground running with the roster that's very, very low on numbers, and the transfer portal has been a huge emphasis there. I know you've spoken with Coach Wilson over a long period of time, but is there anybody else on the staff, or what kind of impact has this staff had on the recruiting trail as they're all kind of new in purple and gold?
Well, here's the thing. Like I say, being at IMG, you met so many people, so many coaches. A lot of these guys when they were at other schools. I'm one believer that one thing in this life, we all know a lot of people, thousands of people, but one thing we can remember, when someone has not been kind and, someone has been ugly, we remember those things, like they're going to stand out. But, the staff, the personnel that's there, I'm not going to tell you, I've known them for years like Frank, but the thing is, I've had a chance, to meet them at, if there are other, schools that they have been at around America, and just, a great group, hardworking, coaches. Just hey, we want to win. Hey, we want to bring a championship back as well with this new staff. It's set up. Everything is in place. We just have to get ready to grind and go and get it.
I know you mentioned the downhill running game. Did you have any talks with the coaching staff about what type of offense they're possibly going to be running next year? I'm kind of curious myself.
Now, we don't want to get off. I don't want to start saying the wrong thing. Get off. No. But I can tell you some downhill running. There's going to be some, of course, the passing game, but some good, quality, downhill running. You got to have that ground game, man. You got to have the ground game.
Terrence Kane, the father of Noah Kane, joining us here on Hunt and Hill. Terrence, I know as a parent you're proud to watch your children spread their wings and do their thing, but coming home's always a good thing too. Pull that purple and gold out of the closet, and we'll see Noah out on the field this fall. Very much looking forward to it.
Hey, appreciate it. Thank you all.
He is Terrence Kane, father of Noah Kane, who made an announcement yesterday that he is headed from Penn State back home to Baton Rouge to wear the purple and gold. And this running back room, all of a sudden, after what you saw this year where it was so thin, looks pretty talented.
Yeah, you got 2 5-star backs in that room now. Then you pair that with the 2 young freshmen who got a little playing time, and maybe we can get a little Javonte Citizen. We'll see how that plays out. But, yeah, the running back room's looking really good right now. I'm loving what they're doing. Let's see how Denbrock operates this thing.
I've already seen the internet abuzz with Javonte Citizen and Noah Kane in the backfield for a Citizen Kane backfield. Just a little play on words there. But we appreciate Terrence Kane for jumping on. I thought that was really, really good. And an insight into the other side of this thing. Noah's going to go to Penn State, a wonderful university with a great football program, and graduate and play and fulfill his commitment there. And then he's going to move on and see if he can come back home and have an impact somewhere else. I think, I hear the people who they say that this is ruining college football and that you shouldn't have just free agency jumping all over the place. And I think there are some things that need to be tweaked, but every situation's different, and this one feels like a great opportunity. He fulfilled his commitment to Penn State by graduating. To me, that's an important thing. I think jumping all over the place, playing 3 places in 4 years is a bit much for me personally. Even though, like I said, every situation is different, that's a lot. When you go graduate from somewhere and want to explore another opportunity, to me, that's kind of the point. That's why I went to college, to graduate. Like, you take sports just out of it. Like, I went to graduate. That takes you 3 years, like it did some. It takes you 5, like it did me. I need a little victory lap. I think that's your obligation. If he graduates this spring and comes here in the summer and plays football for LSU, I don't see how anyone would have a significant issue with that.
Yeah, I don't think you can either. And I think the cherry on top of that is you're not going to some place you've never been before. You're going home, like you said, to play in front of your grandparents, who is very tough to probably get all the way up to Pennsylvania from Baton Rouge, and then those cold weather games. You get a chance to come back home. You're graduated from college already, and you get to play in front of your friends and loved ones and family. So I don't think it gets any better than that, and I'm really cheering him on. I hope he has a great season next year.
For sure. Noah Kane headed back to Baton Rouge from Penn State in the transfer portal. I appreciate Terrence Kane for jumping aboard. I thought that was really, really good stuff. If you missed some of that, want to catch it, YouTube, 1045ESPN.com. Always can find our stuff on demand there. Take a timeout, come back. LSU, Arkansas on the hardwood. In-depth preview coming at you on Hunt and Hill.
Serving up the latest from the sports world. It's Hunt and Hill. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
It is the extra mile on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Sky, I've got that sunshine.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines, fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Auctioner Health.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge area. Cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And now 0% for 60 months on Ford F-150s. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right.
Friday edition of Early Line, as we talk to David Cobb of CBS Sports and get some picks ahead of the college basketball weekend. Plus, we preview LSU versus Arkansas in the PMAC and more. Join us 2 to 3 p.m. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Very excited for tip-off tomorrow, 1 o'clock in the PMAC, LSU and Arkansas. I will be there. Very excited about that as well. My wife is going to make her PMAC debut this year.
How we doing?
Fired up. She's just 2.5 weeks off having a kid. We're leaving old Myers with the grandmother. We're going to go check out some basketball. Hogs come in 11-5 on the year. 1-3 in conference play. Started out 0-3 in the league. This is a team that's coming off an Elite Eight season last year. They lost to Baylor in the Elite Eight. Moses Moody was kind of their star last year. He's moved on. Desi Sills was a nice piece for them last year. No longer there. But some returning firepower from that team for sure. They got off to a really good start. We're 9-0. Beat Kansas State, who's not great. Beat Cincinnati. And then Oklahoma blasted them by 22. And that sent them into a little bit of a tailspin. They lost to Hofstra the next week. They opened Mississippi, SEC play at Mississippi State, lost by 13. Then had a home game against Vanderbilt that they lost by a point. Then went to College Station, got way behind in that game, scrapped all the way back and lost it by 5. So, again, they doubled up Missouri earlier this week and crushed that team. Maybe they found something there. But they will be playing on Saturday without their head coach, Eric Musselman, who, as we learned in the first hour, was participating in a drill in practice and had a player land on him and tore his rotator cuff. And I was watching highlights from the game on Wednesday, and he's coaching, and he's high energy, and he's standing up, but while he's telling him to go or telling him, he's holding his left arm down by his side and waving with his right arm. He was hurting a little bit, so he had to go into the knife on Thursday morning. He's going to miss 2 games. So what do you think the impact is of not having your head coach for a basketball game? Probably going to be 2 for Arkansas.
Yeah, it's a tough scene, man, because obviously they're going to do most of their damage in timeouts and really, making those adjustments, because I'm sure Coach Wade's going to throw some curveballs at them, especially with the full court pressure and some of the rotations and the double teams. And if you're having turnovers and you're doing some of the things that you're not supposed to be doing on the road, your head coach is normally the calming voice that gets you back going in the right direction. We saw that Tennessee team, go on that run. They called that timeout, and then they stopped the bleeding, and you go on that run. That's normally the head coach has a lot to do with that. So I'm looking for if Arkansas starts this game off bad and LSU gets out on a run, I see them really, being in trouble after that.
Familiar face will be the interim head coach for Arkansas, Keith Smart, who's from McKinley High School right down the road. Ended up in Indiana and was a star there and actually hit the buzzer beater to win the 1987 national championship game against Syracuse. He'll be on the bench for the Hogs. Just an overview kind of what this team is statistically before a little bit of personnel for the Hogs. Offensively, 33rd in the country on offensive efficiency, 76th in defensive efficiency. But I will say that when you look at that, Arkansas's issues in the last 3 weeks have been on defense. They are simply not getting nearly enough stops, and that's what's going to derail you or derail this team. They're pretty good offensively, but they've just been terrible on defense. And Musselman's been a good defensive coach in his time, but that has certainly not been the case over the last week. I'll get to you some scores here because they're kind of mind-bending against some of the teams in the league that aren't very good on offense, teams that you ought to be able to slow down. Mississippi State scored 81 on them. Vanderbilt, 75. They gave up 86 to Texas A&M. Going back to the loss against Hofstra, they gave up 89 points in that game. That's just not going to get it. Now, as I look at this, I hesitate to think that LSU is just going to run right over them on the offensive end because A&M was 8 of 19 from 3. Vanderbilt was 10 of 25 from 3. That's 40%. I don't know that LSU's geared to hurt you that bad from the three-point line, specifically if Pinson doesn't play, which is iffy at this point. He's been one of your better shooters over the last 2 weeks. Certainly Days, can, but Gaines is not going to do that, and we'll see what Murray can do. I'm hopeful that he can get things rolling, but I don't know that LSU can hurt him from the three-point line.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be LSU's strong suit. I don't think it's ever. You're going to have your hot streaks. You're going to have your cold streaks. And probably when it's all said and done, you're probably going to be sitting in the low 30 percentile, which is not great. So I think for LSU, if you want to pull away and separate in this game, I think it's going to be from what it's always been. Getting defensive rebounds, forcing turnovers, and getting out on the fast break, and really forcing their guards to have high turnovers, which they're capable of doing. And I think that's going to be their fastest way to get a separation in this game.
Now, Arkansas, coming off that three straight losses to open SEC play, crushed Missouri. And in doing so, they started a huge lineup. We learned in the last hour that they started J.D. Notte, who's a high-volume scoring point guard who's scoring 22 a game in conference play, and 4 forwards. They were big. They were physical. They were good on defense. They slowed Missouri down. They got buckets, and they won that game easily. And so conventional wisdom would say, hey, let's do that again. Let's go with 1 guard and 4 posts. Let's go play. And it sounds like Keith Smart said that's what they're going to do in the press conference yesterday. However, if you leave J.D. Notte on an island with 4 forwards and watch him try to dribble through LSU's press for 40 minutes, that doesn't sound like a great recipe to me.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. I don't think that's what Arkansas is going to have to do to have success in this basketball game. I think they're going to have to heavily depend on JT Notte in the scoring department. But as far as him just having to get through that full court press, I think you're asking for trouble with that, even with Xavier Pinson not being in the lineup. I think the LSU does such a good job being aggressive. I know at least it's some fouls sometimes, but you can't get it. You can't get those cookies without putting your hand in the cookie jar. So
Yep.
that's just how things are going to go. But I think if you can, stay out of foul trouble against this Arkansas team and do the job you've done defensively all year, this game should be well in your wheelhouse.
Arkansas, 7th in the country in free throws made per game. That is a big concern. But at this point, you are what you are, and if you're LSU. So I understand that you could look at this and say, God, LSU fouls a lot. They got to quit fouling. But it's what you just said. You can't get the cookies, which this team lives off cookies. You can't live in the cookie jar. You can't live without getting your hands in the cookie jar. And so they're going to reach and they're going to try to prod and get turnovers. And, Arkansas did a great job of taking care of the ball against Missouri, had just 8 turnovers. That's Missouri. So they're going to get fouled. Arkansas is going to get fouled. They're going to go to the line. I just if LSU's able to keep them off the line somehow, some way, then it's going to be great for LSU and they'll win the game. But it just concerns me a little bit that Arkansas is such a good attacking team. And when you look at the way Efton Reed has fouled, and you look at the way that LSU has put the last two teams they played on the free throw line, it's certainly probably the biggest concern tomorrow.
Yeah, that's going to be the biggest one. I think you saw Tari Eason starting to get in foul trouble as well himself. So that's the last thing you need is your two best bigs constantly in foul trouble. That's a recipe for disaster. I think you can get away sometimes with that. But, you play like that for the rest of the season, you're going to find yourself in a lot of trouble. So I think for LSU, just being more aware, especially I think they get most of their stuff with guys, rotating on defense and guys are driving aggressively to the basket, weak side comes and you foul. But I think sometimes you got to give up some of those twos. As long as they're contested, they make some tough layups, you got to give it to them. You're going to do most of your damage in that press and forcing those lazy cross-court passes and double teams and things of that nature. So less aggressive around the basket, and I think you'll be fine in this game.
Your thoughts on Efton Reed playing time versus Sharif playing time in this game? Arkansas's got Jalen Williams on the block, who's a 6'10", 240-pound sophomore, averages 9 points a game.
Yeah, he's right up there at 8.6. He's fourth in the SEC in rebounds, so that's a guy you definitely got to pay attention to, especially on the offensive end. That's something that kills me. I know kills Coach Wade, just so many offensive rebounds, and some of them are long rebounds, which is understandable, but got to start getting rebounds. I think Sharif can definitely do a job rebounding and helping in that department, but I think for Efton, you got to trot him out there. You got to get him. You got to get his legs underneath him. You got to get him the reps. You got to get him that experience. So I'm riding with Efton, man. I hope his play can get better, and the only way he can do that if he's out there playing.
I'm to the point now where I'm using SEC statistics only. I don't care what you did against Elon and Hofstra and Northwestern State and whoever. We've now got 4 games. You got a sample size of what teams are going to be. And one of the stats that jumped off the page of me about Arkansas is that Jalen Williams at 6'10", 240 is averaging 3.5 assists per game from the post. We know that LSU is aggressive at doubling posts, and they did that. I mean, they were sending 3 guys at Castleton at times, and Florida was missing shots. Arkansas has not been a great shooting team, but Williams is certainly a capable passer out of those double teams on the block. Are you still sending doubles his way and just trying to get the ball out of his hands?
Yeah, I think you mix it up. I think I know for Coach Wade, he doesn't want to see it at all. I've yet to see a big man have some space down there and work some post moves. He's like, nope, we're digging it out. You're getting the ball out your hands. I think you got to start seeing with some of these guys. I think some of these guys probably, they're not going to kill you for 30 and 40. They may miss some shots around the goal. So I think you mix it up. Send the double team sometimes, don't send it sometimes, and really have them second guessing themselves. But if a smart guy like that who's averaging that amount of assists, you keep sending that double team every single time and he's expecting it, he's going to start finding the shooters, and it's going to be a matter if they can knock it down or not.
Hogs are deep. They've got 9 guys who have started an SEC game. That's 4 SEC games. They've started 9 different people, and all those guys that have started average 10 minutes per game. If Connor Vanover comes in the game, you'll notice him. He's 7'4". I don't anticipate you'll see very much of him. He plays a lot against the non-conference teams who can't expose him, basically. He can't move with SEC players. He's been there for 2 years now. It's the same old, same old. I don't expect to see a ton of Vanover in this game. And at 7'4", he's kind of a finesse player. He likes to shoot threes and jump hooks and stuff. I don't think you're going to see a ton of him. This is interesting with a decision that LSU makes with Xavier Pinson, because if he's not 90-95% in this game, I'm going to sit him. Now that's tough to do when you look at the week that LSU's got coming up that finishes this 7-game gauntlet. They've got Alabama and Tennessee both on the road this week, which is brutal. But you got to have Xavier Pinson in February and March. And if that means you got to sacrifice 40 minutes of basketball on Saturday, I just think you've got to do it. Now, if he gets cleared by the medical team, he's going to want to play, and you'll see whatever they decide to do. But I would be pretty cautious about that. The iffy thing is if you lose this game on Saturday, now you're going on the road for 2 more, and all of a sudden you start compounding things. I don't think the players will necessarily do that, but we as fans certainly will. So we'll see LSU and Arkansas 1 o'clock from the PMAC tomorrow. Still a few tickets available, so if you want to come check out the Tigers and Hogs, support this basketball team that's a 2-seed in Joe Lenardi's latest bracketology, get on out there to the PMAC at 1 o'clock on Saturday. Take a time out. Half an hour left to go in our work week. It's Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, Hunt and Hill. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Get Moss Max in less
Savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
Dibs!
Kids have staked out their place at Auctioner Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping your kids well.
Dibs!
It's no wonder kids call dibs at The Grove. Auctioner Health Center for Children.
At All Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, reminding you they now have 8 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. And if you're looking for that COVID test for holiday travel, or you have a holiday event coming up, they're the place for you, as well as a flu shot. It's starting to creep up here during flu season, so if you need that shot, make sure you get that. They now have some available through December. You can find more information on their website, patientplusuc.com. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
I had to pack up all my things. I had to leave my home. And I never knew where I was going next. It felt like I never even had a say. But then you came along.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Don Juan Cigar Bar. The Riot Radio Hours return. We're previewing LSU, Arkansas, and hoops, and the NFL playoff weekend. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Will Wade at the mic right now, meeting with the local media gaggle. And he says Xavier Pinson doubtful for tomorrow. He's going to run a little bit today, but there's just no sense in rushing him back. This team has eyes on March, as they should. Certainly have to put yourself in position to make a run in March, which is what I've been harping on now for a couple of weeks. And yeah, you gotta win every game you possibly can, but at what cost? And sending him out there with a bum knee is just not a smart thing. So hopefully The Tigers, who were shorthanded in Gainesville and came out on top, can do the same thing on their home floor against Arkansas coming up tomorrow. I want to look at the rest of the SEC basketball slate, specifically the game of the day in the league, which starts at noon tomorrow from Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky. Pair of teams that LSU has seen on its home floor will do battle in Lexington. That is number 22 Tennessee and number 18 Kentucky. Batchup of really good post players down low and some talented outside guys, and it's a pretty big rivalry that has developed now that was there when Bruce Pearl was at Tennessee, and now that Rick Barnes has had Tennessee relevant for the last 3 or 4 years. It's been a really good rivalry up there.
Yeah, it's definitely a great rivalry, and I think for them that just how competitive those games have been, I think that's really where the rivalry comes in at. So I'm looking forward to that game. I think it's going to be a good one. I'm not sure who I want to pick, though. I think it's going to go down to the wire. I don't know who I'm picking in that one.
I like Kentucky in the game. I think what's interesting, I was following Wes Rucker along on Twitter, and he was talking about John Fulkerson and what the kind of things that he can do in his time at Tennessee, because he's been there for so long and has won so many games there. If they win tomorrow, he will be the first player in the history of Tennessee basketball to go to Rupp Arena and win 4 times, which is pretty shocking. So we'll see what they can do. Tennessee hangs their hat on the defensive end. So does Kentucky. Xavier Wheeler is expected back in the game for Kentucky to run the point for them. I think that makes all the difference. Again, as we said, when LSU won that game, nobody in March is going to look back at that game and go, oh, yeah, but Wheeler didn't play. It'll just be like LSU beat Kentucky. But we know, as someone who's evaluating LSU, that it matters that he wasn't out there. He should be back with Ty Washington. It'll be a packed house in Rupp, but I lean to Kentucky in that one.
Yeah, I'm starting to go that way too. Just don't know. I think Tennessee, they're desperate to win, but something about Sheway, man. I guess I'll have to take Kentucky.
He'll take 22 rebounds tomorrow in Rupp Arena. Florida at noon will head to Columbia, South Carolina to take on the Gamecocks. Florida 0-3 in the SEC. I'm starting to think that Mike White is coaching his last year in Gainesville. I'm starting to think Konzo Martin is coaching his last game in last season in Columbia. Certainly, Florida needs to get in the win column. South Carolina is kind of a weird place to play. They're always they're tough. They play defense. It's kind of a sleepy environment. We'll see. You got Florida going in there and winning that game?
Man, I think I'll take South Carolina.
As will I, but I was trying to bait you.
Yeah, I'm going to take South Carolina. Something's fishy with this Florida team. I know Castleton has done a ton of work for them, but past that, it's just that there's no consistency from any other player on that roster, so you never know what you're going to get. So I think in a road environment, I think South Carolina gets it done.
Texas A&M is at Missouri. We want to know why I'm saying Konzo Martin might be coaching his last season in Columbia. Well, they lost by 40 on Wednesday, and tickets for this one, Missouri, who's supposed to be a basketball school, you can get in for $2. So not great. Texas A&M 3-0, looking to make it 4-0 in Buzz's year 3. I'm not buying. They're making threes. They're winning games. I'm just not buying it. When you look at the teams they've beaten to open league play, they won at Georgia. They beat Arkansas at home. Then they beat Ole Miss. Now they're going to Missouri. We'll see what A&M's made of in their next 3 when they play Kentucky at home, go to Arkansas, and to LSU. But in this game, they've got at Missouri. You like them in that one?
Yeah, I like Texas A&M so far. They've beaten who's been in front of them. Not much on the SEC slate, though. Not impressive, signature marquee wins that you could point to. But I think in this matchup, I think they get past Missouri.
Vanderbilt is going to Athens, Georgia. 1-2 Doors, who won in Fayetteville, and the 0-3 Georgia Bulldogs. Tom Crean's team is 5-11 this year.
Man, it looks like I'm going with a little SPJ, a little Scottie Pippen Jr., man. I think he gets it done. He's going to have to fill that stat sheet up, which I think he's highly capable of doing. And I think he gets past Georgia, man. Georgia just not much to look to there.
Give me Georgia in that one. At home, Vanderbilt's not that good. Just put all your defense on Scottie Pippen Jr., make somebody else do something. Generally speaking, they won't. I still haven't gotten over it. It's been 3 years, and I should probably get over it. But Scottie Pippen spells his name different than his dad.
Yeah.
He goes Y. Dad went IE. What do we do? Why don't we just pick the same name? It's Junior. We can do it. There's no reason to switch it. Oh, well. It's all fine. And then Auburn headed to Oxford, Mississippi to play in the Pavilion. I'm guessing you don't love Kermit's chances in Oxford.
I'm staying so far away. I'll leave that right where you found it. Look, I'm not buzzing. Look, you're about to run into a bus on Ole Miss, so just prepare yourselves. It won't be painful. It's just going to be quick. So just deal with it, because I think Auburn's going to have their way with Ole Miss in that one.
Last night, Oregon beat number 3 UCLA. We're not used to having to, consider these things with LSU, but as LSU continues to creep into the top 15, looking towards the top 10, we've seen power rankings like Ken Palm have them as high as 7. They're a 2 seed in Joe Lunardi's most latest bracketology. So we got to start paying attention to the top, 5, 8 teams in the country and see what happens. Oregon kind of gagged it away at the end of regulation, but they did do enough in Pauley Pavilion to beat UCLA and win that game. UCLA now falls to 10-2. They were 3rd in the country. We'll see where they stand. But Wisconsin got a huge win against Ohio State last night. Wisconsin 13th in the country, right there with LSU, as well as Ohio State, who's 16th in all the land. So just kind of keeping an eye on things that going on in the national college basketball landscape. I realize that's something we do far more often on the football side of things. But at this point, with LSU sitting where they are, we got to start doing that on a national perspective. Don't really have to pay too much mind to Gonzaga. They won 110-84 over BYU. They just wreck everybody this time of year. So we'll see Gonzaga in March whenever they come up for air, because this is just too easy. So one more segment left to go. Join us to close it out on a Friday. It's Hunt and Hill.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
So excited to tell you about Sync Wellness, our new partner here in 2022, syncwellness.com. Look, Louisiana Marathon this weekend, and Sync Wellness is a huge part of it. They're up and rolling right now over at the Expo. That's at the Raising Cane's River Center downtown, just a stone's throw from right here on Government Street. That is tonight until 7 o'clock, and then tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Sync Wellness will be there. They'll be administering their hydrations. They've got the performance and recovery formula. They've got the energy boost hydrations. If that's something you're interested in, stop on by the Expo at the River Center. Sync Wellness has got you covered, and they've got so much to look into.
Yeah, Sync has all the professional products that help you stay well and keep your immune system strong. One of their most popular items is their pharmacist-curated immune pack, conveniently packaged with vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc in the doses you need to stay well. They also have their immune support IV hydration packed with vitamin C, vitamin B, and zinc. And if you're feeling too ill to walk into their suite, their registered nurses will administer your IV curbside.
Curbside IVs. How can you possibly beat that? Look, we're all trying to be well in 2022. You can scour the internet for days trying to figure out what you need to do, or you can just go over to Sync Wellness and let them help you out. You can always check them out at syncwellness.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
People often think they can handle.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Evening edition of Game Time presented by Bet Rivers. We're live at Rouge Creole in Perkins Row, recapping all of the college and NFL action from the weekend on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Their instructor is speaking.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Just checking the Twitterverse out. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, former Tiger stud running back, will not play for the Chiefs this weekend on Wild Card Weekend, dealing with an injury, and he will sit. That means sounds like a little Darrell Williams action.
Yeah, it's gonna be the D. Will show, man. He's really found a niche up there in Kansas City. Really just catching balls out of the backfield. Being a tough runner in short yardage goal line situations, and really after those two, there's not much on that roster. So yeah, it's gonna be the D. Will show.
That'll work. Let's do some take it or leave it.
Let's do it. All right, here we go. All right, what we got here? All right, yeah. USC Trojans receiver Brew McCoy. He's entered the NCAA transfer portal for the third time in his collegiate career. Are you taking or leaving? The NCAA should put a limit to how many times someone can transfer.
Look, I tread lightly when I talk about this. Every situation's different, but to me, as I said earlier, it just feels like there's a flaw in the system if you can just go wherever you want all the time. It's just not realistic. There are non-competes in the business world. There are contracts in the professional sports world. Just go do whatever you want all the time doesn't seem like the best way to go about it. I'm not – it's just the way I feel. I would listen to an argument that says just let the players do what they want. The coaches can go wherever they want and just buy contracts out. And I understand that side of it, but just playing 4 places in 4 years seems like a little bit much to me. You played. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there has to be just a little more, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for here? A little more, I guess, it's just chaos. I guess you got to control it a little more. Maybe a limit. I don't know. Maybe you get 2 transfers. I come from the day of no transfers at all unless you're going down. So, I don't know, man. I think this situation just transferring 3 times.
I just don't think it's great to create an environment where the first time someone lines up in front of you for a drill, you just go to the next school. It's just that just doesn't seem great to me. But what do I know? I'm an idiot. The AP All-Pro NFL team came out. First team wide receivers. Deebo Samuel, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams. No Jefferson, no Chase. Take it or leave it.
I'm leaving that. What are we doing? How do you leave off?
Who are you taking off?
I'm taking off Deebo, and I'm taking off Devontae. You leave Cooper, put my boy Jamar in there, put my boy Justin in there. What are we doing? Come on. He had almost 1,500 yards receiving. My boy Jamar had over 1,400 yards receiving. Did you not watch the playoff run at the end? Without Jamar, they don't do that. Dude had more receiving yards than Patrick Mahomes had passing yards. How do we do it? What are we doing?
Deebo is just an all-purpose type deal because he ran the ball so much. And look, he's a stud, and they're going to give him the ball a ton tomorrow. We'll see what the Mitchell coming back means to him carrying the ball, but he'll have it a bunch. But, yeah, it's one of those deals where everybody wants to get up in arms when their guys aren't on all SEC teams, all American teams, all pro teams. You always have to take somebody off. But if you want to take those 2 guys off and add them, I won't tell you you're wrong. I like it, so we'll see. The Texans fired David Culley after 1 season as their head football coach. Take it or leave it. That's too quick.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I think, especially in an organization like that, I think no matter who you are, especially if you don't have a quarterback. I mean, your starting quarterback's out for the year. Like, what did you exactly expect to happen? So I just think that was just a bad situation. I don't know many guys. I think if you put Belichick in there or any guy in there, I don't know how many games you expect them to win, especially without a quarterback. So to me, it's a little quick to pull the trigger, especially in that situation.
No, Belichick would have missed the playoffs by a mile with that team. Wouldn't even been close. So in terms of just your general situation, this is ridiculous. Now, if he did something or acted in a manner over the first year where you understand this guy is out of his skis, we have no chance here, well, then that's your prerogative to fire the coach. He's going to collect about $22 million for it. But it probably was a ridiculous thing to do based on, I haven't heard anything, some egregious actions, some ridiculous quotes, mistreatment of players, breaking rules. They just don't know what they're doing in Houston is basically what it comes down to. And that it seems way too early to me, personally.
Yep, I would agree with that for sure. All right, my boy Lane Kiffin, he hired his younger brother, Chris Kiffin, to be the co-defensive coordinator at Ole Miss. Are you taking or leaving? This Ole Miss defense will be better in the absence of DJ Durkin.
I'll leave it. They're losing Chance Campbell and a couple of the guys who were actually reasonable players on the defensive side. Their recruiting classes have not been great under Lane, and I think DJ Durkin's probably a better defensive coordinator than Chris Kiffin. Is he as much of a lightning rod? Probably not. DJ Durkin is very much that, and I wish DJ Durkin nothing but football failures in his time in College Station. That's my sincere gift to him in this new year. But I think that's probably a step back, quite honestly.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I guess co-defensive coordinator, some stuff going on over there, but yeah, I think that Ole Miss defense is going to look a lot more like that 2020 season. This year they played well, I would say, especially playing.
At times.
Yeah, but I think it's going to look a lot more like that 2020 season. Their offense is going to have to carry the load, but hey, our Tigers will be ready for them.
Got to go get a quarterback.
Yeah, that too. That's definitely. I know he was looking in that portal. Maybe they can get that kid from USC. We'll see how things go, but it's not looking good for the Rebels
Jackson
right now.
Dart.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes for the old Rebels here.
You got one more for me?
Yeah. Chicago Bulls president Michael Reinsdorf said it's exciting now that the Bulls are back relevant again. They haven't been to the finals since the late 90s, but taking or leaving, Bulls back relevant.
They are. They're for sure. I'll take it.
I'll take it.
The Chicago Twitter that I follow very closely is locked in every night. And, there's an element to that makes the NBA a little bit cooler. When the Knicks are relevant, which is almost never, that's just a cool thing as a very, very, very casual NBA observer who's certainly not going to lock it in every night. I just think it's better when the Lakers and the Knicks and the Bulls are good as opposed to the Bucks and the, Magic or, whatever. It's cooler to watch the Bulls in Chicago in the playoffs and the Knicks in Madison Square Garden than it is to flip it on and watch, the Bucks. Like I said, Giannis is great, and look, Golden State's awesome to watch, and I love them. But there's an element that's true about that when the big dogs or the more powerful organizations bring a heavier stick. It's better in the Major League Baseball. It's better when the Red Sox and Yankees play as opposed to the Rays and the Royals. It just is. Good sports is good sports, but there are levels to it, and it can get a lot better. So that's kind of my 2 cents on that. All right, if you look at the NFL, well, we got to go to the Citizens Bank poll question and look at the results on that. I will pull it up. We'll see. The question was, if you could only watch 2 hours of LSU basketball against the Arkansas Razorbacks, or you could watch all of the NFL slate for the weekend, which would you watch? As we check out the poll question for today, we've had over 112 votes. 60% say they'd rather watch LSU and Arkansas. 40% say they'd rather watch all the playoff games. That's probably what I'd imagine. You're looking at an audience that skews towards football in totality, but when it's purple and gold, that's what they're going to go for.
I wonder how different that poll would have been if the old Saints were playing.
It would have been very different.
I think that's what it is. I think that's definitely where a lot of that's coming from. No Saints in the playoff. People are out. Like, no more NFL football for me. But that's understandable. I'll be watching my NFL football.
We can watch it all. The great thing about the poll is you're not held to the poll. You can do whatever the hell you want on the weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. But all right, let's look at that NFL slate. If you can only watch one game this weekend, which one would it be?
Ooh, man, I gotta watch Joey B and the crew, man. I gotta see that. I gotta see them get over the playoff slump, Get over that hump. Joey B, get it done. Get the people of Cincinnati on your side forever, for perpetuity. And we'll see my boy Chase and the crew. Yeah, I'm watching Joey B, man.
Personally, for me, it's the Bills too. But if I'm looking at this a little bit more objectively, I'm fascinated by the Bills-Patriots game in 0 degrees and see what shows up. That Bills fan base has just got to be just yearning for it. The Patriots are the hated rivals who have had their number for 2 decades, and now it's your chance to be better than them and put your stamp on it on your home field and move forward when you think you've got a team that's as good as any in the NFL on a given day. Have they been as consistent as anybody? Nope, they have certainly not. But now you just got to go do it 4 times. So that's the chore that they've got in front of them right now, and that game will be on Saturday. So very much looking forward to all that. You think the Tigers get it done on the hardwood tomorrow?
Oh, yeah. I think, Arkansas is just not enough. Some of their losses are just brutal. I think even without Xavier in the lineup, and we got my boy Sharif giving us some minutes, I like my Tigers.
Come on, Gaines. No turnovers. Run the show. Make it work. I think LSU will be just fine. We'll see if Arkansas goes with that big lineup. Very excited to get out in the PMAC tomorrow. That's going to do it for us. Great show here on a Friday. Appreciate everybody for interacting in the Bayou Ford chat. If you go back to hour number 1, we looked at the transfer portal for LSU. Devontae Lee out, Greg Brooks in, Noah Cain in. We had Noah Cain's father, Terrence Cain, joined us at the top of the 1 o'clock hour. It was really, really insightful to hear what he had to say. Curtis Wilkerson was great talking about the Arkansas Razorbacks. That was at 12:15. We certainly got into the NFL playoffs and had a deep dive into the LSU-Arkansas game at 1:15. That's going to do it for us. Matt Moscona will drive you home, finish your week out from 3 to 6 on After Further Review. Your early line is coming up next. Mario and Musso will get you ready for the NFL playoffs and certainly LSU and Arkansas as well. Thanks to Casey and Taylor. That's Jeremy. I am Hunt. We will see you